Millions of people around the world watched as cargo ship Dali crashed into the Baltimore Francis Scott's Key Bridge, collapsing a 50-year-old bridge. And globally, catastrophic failure of infrastructure due to extreme weather or engineering failures have increased the need for preventive maintenance on public infrastructure. In today's episode, we will talk about the company that uses relatively unknown field of photogrammetry to optimize inspections of structures in a way that has never been done before. Hello, it's Cheng, CEO of Supercharge Lab and your host of the AIP podcast on behalf of the AI Partnerships Corp. And what a show we have for you today. Today, we are going to be meeting with Albert Mansour, the CEO and founder of ConeLabs, a startup that is going places in the built world, making infrastructure inspection easier and simpler and creating a safer physical space for all of us. Albert, who is a graduate of the University of Waterloo, is a trained structural engineer, and he met his co founder in 2022 and was introduced to the world of photogrammetry. And the rest, as they say, is history. Let's all give it up and welcome Albert to our show. Albert, so good to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Anne. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Let's dive right in. Let's start with your story, perhaps. Tell us how you got into construction and then how Cone Labs was born.
Yeah, back a long time ago, Anne, when I was choosing which engineering field I wanted to study, I always associated engineering with buildings and structures, and I looked around, and that kind of guided my decision. So I decided to be a civil engineer with a focus on structural engineering. As you said, I graduated from the University of Waterloo a long time ago. And since then, my career has mostly been spent in the world of construction. So introducing technology and advancements in the construction, allowing things to be done more efficiently. And then the last 10 years or so of my career, I've really focused on the built world, the built environment, introducing new emerging technologies, but to our existing structures that, as you said, are 50 plus years old. And that's how I've really focused. That's where my career has been focused for the last decade or so.
Okay, so let's really dive into the meat of things. Photogrammetry, that is such a mouthful. But of course, considering that the entire construction industry seems to be using LiDAR and laser scanning technology for inspections, tell us what the differences are and how photogrammetry will be able to provide superior outcomes.
Yeah, there's the term digital twin that floats around out there that could be applied in many different applications. At the end of the day, when we're taking an existing, ground truth or built world object and creating a digital model, usually in 3D, that's a digital twin. You're right. There's quite a few technologies today that embrace LiDAR. LiDAR is uses lasers to create hyper accurate models of the built environment. Really between photogram and then photogrammetry is no different as 3D models, but what we call with textured meshes. So we can actually see the object. It's almost a three-dimensional photo, if you will. So there are applications for LiDAR when you need accuracy, and then there are applications for photogrammetry when you want to see the textured layer or to see the picture of the object. Um, and that's I've spent my career in both, and it really ultimately will depend on the use and the application, but the beauty of photogrammetry now is with the advancement of AI, we could start to do a little bit more with these models. Now we could teach an algorithm to see things and observe things that you and I see when we look at these images. With LiDAR scan, you have a point cloud with accuracy, but sometimes you need to do a little more with that in order to make it usable depending on the application.
Well, the construction and civil engineering industry is notoriously slow to adopt any form of technology. And given that the industry is now experiencing mass adoption of LiDAR solutions, given it being embedded into mobile phones and iPads, how do you think you would overcome the adoption of photogrammetry?
I think the first thing I'll say is I think After reflecting on it a bit, I recognize why we're slow to adopt in the construction industry. We are in an industry where the consequence of failure is astronomical and it's catastrophic. So we tend not to take risks in our world. So unless something overwhelmingly convinces me that it's better than the old way of doing it, my adoption of it or embracing of a new approach or new technology will be slow. And I will take extensive time to vet that technology. And that's just the way it is because failure costs money, costs schedule, costs budget, and then, of course, can cost lives. So that's why adoption is slow. Um, LiDAR has really gathered a foothold, mostly in, digitized scan to BIM, creating 3D Revit models of the built environment. I think why photogrammetry is now kind of emerging as an opportunity is because of the opportunity, what it allows us to do with AI. So photogrammetric models, like I said, are textured meshes. So when you have a LiDAR point cloud, you will have a hyper accurate a hyper accurate dimension of an object. But with photogrammetry, you don't get that hyper accuracy, but you see the texture of the object. So for example, if I'm looking for a crack on a roadway with a point cloud from a LiDAR scan, we can't see that. But with a point cloud from a camera with RGB and a textured mesh, we can see that crack. So there are opportunities for both. If I need to create an accurate model, I would use LiDAR. If I need to observe things like cracks and defects, I would use a camera. Now, the other great thing about our technology is we could fuse both. We use a technology called sensor fusion. So at the time of capture, if we mount a LiDAR and a camera to a drone, we can actually embrace both technologies and then we can have both layers in the model so that users can benefit from the accuracy of LiDAR, but also have photogrammetry and the opportunity to detect defects and have AI automate that task.
Great. Let's talk a little bit about AI since that's all we're about, right? So, how
Yeah.
does ConeLabs use AI technology to provide these optimized outcomes, especially for large scale bridges and infrastructure where access may be limited?
Yeah, I think I want to first say that I hate the overuse of the term AI, and I think we have to be a little more use some discernment and identify what is true advancement of AI, and then what is some maybe a wrapper on an API call, and maybe that's just my recent thoughts on it. But here's how we are innovating AI. The first thing is, so you're right, access is tricky. So the great thing about our industry is the advancement of drone technology, and more importantly, drone path planning and flight planning. That's becoming more automated, and drones are able to get into more of the nooks and crannies and harder to access spaces of our structures. So we're benefiting from now unprecedented reach and access and able to grab images from parts of structures that historically, we never could without, some significant mobilization and rope access and sometimes shutting down lanes and things like that. So we're getting access through the advancement of drone. What we are then doing is we have created an AI that pulls and works off of three-dimensional data, which actually has never been done in AI. If you think about all of the AI applications, the data set that the AI pulls from is two-dimensional, so either text or images. So for the first time, we are using three-dimensional data in our AI algorithm. And that I'm so proud of the innovation in this kind of crowded space that we've built out. It's going to take some time to kind of refine it to where we want it to be, but ultimately, what we're building will be this ultimate engineering tool where with one click we can accurately identify all the defects in a structure in the hardest to reach spaces, and then very efficiently and quickly have a snapshot of the health of that structure.
That is amazing. And congratulations on all the innovations that you've been pioneering. And not only that, congratulations on winning the Continuum Spark Award for America and Europe, the European regional finals. What's on the horizon for you and ConeLabs?
Yeah, we're excited. The we're getting some recognition. Wherever we go, we're solving a problem that's not hard to disagree with. Everyone has a story where they can relate to or recall, an incident where they observed structural failure, or they'll talk about the highway they drove in on today and how they're concerned about the structural health of that infrastructure. So, we're especially in North America, we're reaching that point where most of our critical infrastructure is on the second half of its design life. So the demand is up and action must be taken. So we're excited. We've built out our solution. It is in the hands of some notable inspection focused companies. We're working on some exciting projects with them. We've bid on some additional work that will be really exciting for us. So what's on the horizon for us is to continue to grow our sales, get our product out into more hands of inspectors, continually refine, gather feedback from our customers. And our North Star vision is to build an inspection solution with a single click. So just from imagery, uploading images of a structure, and then in a very quick, efficient time, have a report that highlights and details the defect location, the remedial action to be taken, and even a forecast of maybe the potential issues that this structure might face. We're working, our heads are down, and we're working so hard to build this out. And we're excited to see our sales and traction also grow at the same time.
That's amazing. Well, Albert, what a blast it's been to have you here today. Thank you for all that you do to make our physical world a better place and for sharing your story on our podcast today. To all our listeners and subscribers on Spotify, YouTube, and LinkedIn, your support has been so incredibly valuable to us. Please don't forget to like, share, and follow this, and even refer this link to some of your peers who might benefit from it. It helps us so much more than you'll ever know. Once again, my name is Anne. I am your host and the CEO of Supercharge Lab. I have been speaking with Albert Mansour of ConeLabs. Thank you for sharing your time with us, everyone.
Thanks, Anne.